Hello and welcome to Progress Wrestling. And today, not so much of a hype show, but certainly a recap show. Myself and my co-host, who I'll be introducing very soon, will be looking back at the extraordinary happenings from Super Strong Style Day 3. But before we get started, just going to introduce my co-host, my good friend, the Mad Dog, Mike Angus himself. How you doing, Mike?
All good, Johners. Yeah, partying it up as always, my friend. Ready to have a chat about Super Strong Style 16. What an amazing weekend we had on that May Bank holiday weekend, and then there's so much still to come this year from Progress Wrestling. So let's get down to it, and we'll chat it all out.
Absolutely. But just a quick thank you to our friends, Defy Wrestling over in the States. And of course, they had a big show just before AEW Forbidden Door this past Sunday in Toronto. And of course, we are referring to this one here. And of course, they had earlier on in the day Smash Wrestling and Femme Fatales. And then at 3 p.m. over in Toronto on Sunday, there was Defy and Progress. And of course, there were 6 amazing matches that happened from the Rec Room in Toronto, including our very own Charles Crowley, the Bollywood boys there who picked up a nice little win to retain their Defy Tag Championships, and of course Spike Trivet with his Progress World Championship on the line against Artemis Spencer there. But a good showing from some of the Progress regulars, and of course our very own world champion, and of course the spectacular one. Any kind of words there for our friends over at Defy? And obviously there are some clips and some photos out there, but some good results all round for our Progress boys.
Definitely sounds like an amazing afternoon in Canada, and of course, Forbidden Door was a crazy show. Some of our other wrestlers on show, obviously Will Ospreay picking up his a big win there over Kenny Omega. So huge ramifications for that one, for what's going to be happening later on in the summer, and of course from the Defy Progress show, possible ramifications for August 26th when it's clobbering time in London, and we've obviously got Defy over with us on that day. And there's been some interesting rumblings in the mix, Johners, from what happened over in Canada. So looking forward to seeing what ends up happening from those.
Absolutely. And of course, there probably will be some spoilers throughout the course of this recap show. But of course, we'll be focusing most of our time on Super Strong Style 16, Day 3. The culmination, the climax of what was one of the very best Super Strong Style tournaments Progress Wrestling has ever held. And one partial spoiler now is that we still have our reigning defending Sovereign Lord, the Vulture of Progress, Spike Trivet, still the reigning Progress World Champion there. Over 300 days. It's got their 12 successful title defenses. I think that win over Artemis Spencer makes it 13. I think there's possibly one from Dubai last December against Axel Tisha, if I'm not mistaken. So 14
in there as well, yeah.
Unbelievable, and an incredible reign, well over 300 days. Will he get to a full year? We'll have to see. But Spike Trivet marches on as our Sovereign Lord, as our Progress World Champion, Mike.
Yeah, exactly. The Vulture, and what a year he's had. Definitely I think the top heel in the business at the moment. From who I've seen, he's absolutely brilliant. Everywhere he goes, the fans hate him, and there's an instant dislike when you meet Spike Trivet, and it's very easy for him to convey that, and just the way he talks in the ring, and the disdain he had for Connor Mills over the Super Strong Style 16 weekend was palpable. He couldn't stand him, and he dealt with him how he does, and that's destroys people. Spike Trivet is absolute beast, and obviously Cara Noir was such a threat to him, and then he's still recovering now. Best wishes to Cara. Obviously, the GoFundMe going very well for Cara Noir. So thank you to everyone who's donated there, and to help with that specialist treatment that Cara has to receive due to the injury sustained, obviously, at the hands of Spike Trivet as well in heavy metal back the other month in the ballroom. So, of course, Spike, a formidable opponent for anybody. And obviously, as we're going to be chatting now, the winner of Super Strong Style 16 is going to get their chance to take on Spike. And as he said himself, they're going to get the chance to face him and lose, he said. So he's already predicting his own future there. So, we'll have to see what happens there.
Absolutely. Well, once again, thank you to our friends over at Defy. We look forward to seeing you in London for Defy and Progress. Two separate shows. We're going to flash up that slide one more time because tickets are already on sale. Just go to progresswrestling.com/tickets. It will take you through to the Dice FM app where you can get your ticket or your combo tickets for both shows. Obviously, you've got Defy, the Splendid, and the Vile starting at noon on Sunday the 26th, Saturday the 26th, my apologies. And then that same day, that same afternoon, 4 p.m. Progress, it's clobbering time. And we will be looking towards the end of this recap show at what's been announced so far and some of the recent happenings. And of course, Mike has alluded to that show indeed. But thank you to our friends over at Defy. Congratulations to our Sovereign Lord on making it over 300 days. But let's have a look at Super Strong Style 16, day 3. And of course, scrolling along the bottom of the screen is where you can sign up to Progress on Demand. Day 1, day 2, and day 3, all 3 days of this year's Super Strong Style tournament are up. Of course, day 1 from the Dome, where you had the 8 first round matches. Day 2 from the Electric Ballroom with the quarterfinal matches and all them other feature matches, including that fantastic ladder match between Sunshine Machine and the Smoking Aces. And of course, day 3, which will be highlighted now. But go to progresswrestling.com/watch. Click the on-demand link. Sign up for your 2 weeks free trial today. Now, don't delay. Watch his first, of course, and then go and sign up. Get your 2 weeks free trial, and then enjoy all 3 days of this year's Super Strong Style. But just to cover off some of the matches, and of course, we open day 3 with the ups and downs battle royal. Simon Miller's ups and downs battle royal, of course, and I think one of the highlights of the whole weekend for me was seeing a man like Dalboy back in a Progress ring, Mike. An absolute fantastic. I think Darius should make that a permanent gimmick or a semi-permanent, maybe in a Progress ring. But there were so many happenings. Obviously, you got to action there from Robbie X, Leon Slater, Maggot, of course, Charles Crowley, and of course we had the long-awaited encounter, you could say. Not quite a one-on-one encounter, but they did mix it up in this battle royal between Bullet and Big Damo. And of course, it came down to Tate and Rampage Brown, but an incredible way. I couldn't think of a better way to kick off day 3 of this year's Super Strong Style. Give us your recollections of that one, Mike. It was absolutely wild and so much fun.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, so exciting and amazing to have SoCal Val back on comms for day 3. Some of the banter between her and Ollie Spring about Nigel as well, and some of the other stuff was hilarious. But and I really did giggle when they were calling Rampage Brown Rammers on the commentary there, and I thought they were both going to be in trouble for it. So yeah, he still hasn't got him yet, so hopefully they'll be fine. But what a battle royal it was! You know, when you've got people like Nick Wayne, Irie, even Leon Slater, all in a battle royal together, just so exciting. And you know, it broke down straight away with Bullet deciding he was going to interject and throw himself in there, and then him and Big Damo eliminated each other, so it was chaos all over the place. As you said, man like Del Boy, yeah, perfect gimmick for Darius, because he's always the first at the merch stand. So that man like Del Boy it's not really a gimmick; it is his character. So,
watch the TV show coming to your TV soon. Sorry, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, no, just saying. Maggot and Crowley were reunited as well, and they seemed to be getting on so well, and then they ended up biting each other's fingers, and then they were in the ring for the whole match, and still fighting out the back at the end of the match after it all finished. They were still under the ring, causing chaos. As well, Tate Mayfair was not a happy bunny after this one. He had a right hissy fit. And one of my favourite parts is when he, I don't know if you've watched it back, Jonas, but at the very end of the match, he slams a chair down on the stage as hard as he can. It pops up in the end and lands perfectly open on the stage. So we'll have to get him setting the seats up before the next show if he can do that all day long. That's a special trick, that.
Hey, that's a trick we didn't see during the Nigel McGuinness Magic Show for sure, but that could be a separate act all of his own.
Magic Fingers himself was back in the house, for the next match. So yeah, that was some of the amazing magic on the night before. This was such a good night, and of course, yeah, Tate needs to work that magic trick with the chair into his repertoire. If he can do that again, I'm not sure he'll be able to, but pretty awesome when I noticed that little clip.
Absolutely. And go and check that opener out on Progress on Demand. A great way to kick off day 3. And then we had the 2 semi-finals of Progress Super Strong Style 16, of course, the first of which, Luke Jacobs versus Mark Haskins. An incredible match. And as we said in last week's recap show, Mike, Luke Jacobs, he has this knack of doing very, very well in tournaments. Previously, the winner of the Atlas title tournament, of course, last year, I believe it was last year. And then, of course, the year before that, the winner of the Natural Progression Series, getting to the semi-final of this year's Super Strong Style. But I don't think he really had in his plans a certain Mark Haskins, and Mark Haskins had other ideas, Mike.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things with Luke. He's done so well getting through tournaments in the past, but this one he'd had a couple of tough matches against big guys. You know, he'd fought Rampage Brown in the one before, and before he picked up a bit of a knock. And then as he's taken on Haskins, who, you know, with such an emphatic return, he hadn't been at Progress since unboxing 2019 or something like that. You know, he's been away for 4 years. It was an emphatic return, and he is a tactician and a technical wrestler in the ring, and he spotted that injury that Luke Jacobs had got the previous day and really honed in on it and worked on that leg. And obviously it was the deathlock that Haskins won that match with, which put Luke out the tournament, and that was focusing on that bad leg that Luke had hurt. So yeah, no surprises there. But you know, Haskins, brilliant wrestler, and he just picked up on that injury that Luke had picked up in the tournament and focused on it. You know, like the cerebral assassin himself. That you know, very clever, and yeah, spotted that weak point and really exploited it there and picked up a big win to get himself into the final.
Getting himself through to the final. If you think about who Mark Haskins picked off to get through to the final, obviously Leon Slater in day 1, no easy feat there. Obviously one of the brightest young stars on the UK scene. Round 2, Charles Crowley in what we said last week was a star-making performance for Charles Crowley, and then of course picking off another young, I think Luke Jacobs, 23, 24 years old, easily one of the best, most fiercest and most feared competitors on the UK scene. So kind of the old guards, shall we say, the originals, Mark Haskins really kind of showing the new guard, the younger Progress talent, how it's done, getting through to the final there. The second semi-final, obviously Full Metal Lycos, Kid Lycos, going up against the first ever Progress World Champion, dating all the way back to Chapter 1, 11 years ago, Nathan Cruz, of course. And we've seen Nathan Cruz put on some incredible displays during Super Strong Style. Round 1, round 2 against Will Ospreay, of course. This semi-final match against Kid Lycos was no different. It was hard-hitting. Nathan Cruz obviously came into the tournament to make a point, maybe with a bit of a chip on his shoulder, and maybe a bit of an attitude that he deserved to be there and he deserves to go all the way. But Kid Lycos proved why he's probably one of the most, dare I say, improved wrestlers on a Progress roster for the last 12 months or so. Certainly has the backing from the fans now, from the Progress faithful, especially in the ballroom. This was another great match and another great semi-final.
Yeah, and it was a really interesting dichotomy in this one whereby Nathan Cruz's behaviour seemed to get worse and worse as the tournament went on with some of his Eddie Guerrero-style antics. He obviously got Will Ospreay eliminated from the tournament with wrapping a chair around his own head, and then he was up for much of the same in this matchup where he was up to all sorts. He had the Progress staff, and then he's got got a chair into play. But the interesting thing about Lycos was his behaviour's improved so much over the last year, but on this occasion, he did fight fire with fire because the tricks backfired on Nathan Cruz because Lycos had used them all before himself. So as soon as Cruz has pulled one trick and wrapped a chair around his head, Lycos actually hits him with the chair and then puts it in his hands and lies down on the floor himself. So some amazing, Eddie Guerrero-esque antics there, which is always amazing to see. So brilliant stuff from both the guys there, and another tough battle. And Nathan Cruz obviously distressed to go out the tournament, and Lycos amazingly, to the surprise of many who were in attendance and to the team, makes it through to the final there, which is a huge result for him. And it was interesting to see as well. his getting to the final was almost Bret Hart-esque at King of the Ring '93, because he used different maneuvers to to fight his way to the finish in each match. Obviously beating Big Damo with the Brain Buster, finally hitting that Brain Buster, and then he used the Serotonin Bay. It was against Nick Wayne, that right off the middle rope, and planted Nick Wayne to beat one of the future greats, isn't it, Nick Wayne? You can't deny that. And of course, then he used like some sort of crazy like Lycos-esque roll up in this one on Cruz, and caught Nathan with with a little bit of a roll up there. And I think the fans at the end of that match were chanting "Death by roll up," if I'm not mistaken, John.
Wow, they all count, don't they? Even these cheeky roll-ups, you get the 1, 2, 3 and advance to the finals. But there we go, and very well spotted there, Mike. You've astutely kind of picked out and the correlation there with Bret Hart from one of the very best pay-per-views and one of the very best displays 30 years ago, pretty much.
Was
to
it?
the month.
Oh my!
Yeah, 30 years ago.
Now.
June '93, and now we're in June 2023, which always doesn't seem real. But and if you want to know what Mike's on about, go and check out day 1, day 2, and now day 3 to see exactly how Kid Lycos picked up them wins in the 3 different ways, making his way to the final. And we'll talk about the final very, very soon. But a very impressive display. But I also want to give credit to Nathan Cruz, a wonderful return back to a Progress ring, as it was many of the other Progress originals like Ospreay, like Mark Haskins, and we'll be talking about Ospreay and Haskins very soon. And then still in the first half of the show, we had this main event to close out part one of day 3 of Super Strong Style, and the much talked about, the much anticipated Clock Strikes Midnight match. And before I bring up some of the matches, I mean, I interviewed Nina Samuels maybe a month ago, and she said that for many weeks that was the first and only match that was advertising the whole of Super Strong Style for this year. That kind of carried the weight and kind of sold the tickets essentially for what was a tremendous 3-day event. And I think Nina Samuels, Alexis Falk, and I'm sure you'll agree, more than delivered with this match, more than delivered with the creativity, the imagination, the wild antics. There's Alexis coming out for her awesome entrance, Nina Samuels for her superstar appearance, her superstar entrance, of course. But the match soon got wild, it soon got crazy. But as I'm sure you'll kind of remind us in a moment, Mike, it did get very, very crazy towards the end, and a very, very climactic end there. But it started off just basic stipulations, a one-on-one, and which kind of progressed into something a little bit more adventurous every time the clock randomly struck midnight. But give us your recollections of that one. Honestly, one of my highlights of the 3 days of Super Strong Style.
Yeah, an amazing match. And, we knew the tournament was going to be strong, Super Strong Style 16. We brought in some amazing competitors for that. Nigel had selected some of the best from around the world. Obviously, we had on day 2, the tag team match that we're looking forward to. And then on day 3, the ladies had fought this one up a long time ago. And it was something that that Alexis really wanted to show what she could do, and it was it's an amazing matchup, and it was so well orchestrated by everyone involved. And just Alexis and Nina went out there and had one of the best wrestling matches you'll see. The stipulation changes added to it even more. The amazing entrances the ladies had, it literally is a must-watch match, and it was just amazing encounter between two women who are at the absolute top of their game. Nina Samuels ended up going through a table off the top. That was brutal. Alexis
the glass zipper
busted open with the old stiletto. But yeah, we had a singles match, we had a tables match, we had a first blood match, and then as soon as it was just before Alexis got busted open with that stiletto, it switched to a submission match, didn't it? So that made Nina even more angry. And then, of course, when you thought it couldn't go any further, and Nina Samuels had gone through that table on the outside. She's about to be counted out. And on the 8 count, I think it was, it changed to a death match just to finish the match off with some added chaos. So I know Alexis is well versed in that sort of thing from being the TNT Women's Champion, of course, up in Liverpool, TNT Extreme Wrestling. But I think this just shows the extreme she was willing to go to show what she could do there, and a massive a massive victory for her. And but don't take anything away from Nina Samuels. She showed how strong and tough she can be with the beating she took in this one. And such an entertaining match, and definitely one I'll be going back to watch again. And I'm sure a lot of fans have asked, can we put that out for them to see? And it's available now on demand, so make sure to check it out. It's definitely worth watching that one.
There we go. Get your 2 weeks free trial and check it out tonight after watching this one. But a tremendous match. And like I say, it lived up to all the expectation. It lived up to all the hype and then some. Don't just take my word for it. Don't take Mike's word for it. Go and check it out yourself. And then we kicked off half 2, or the second part of day 3 of Super Strong Style. And wow, I mean, just look at this graphic here. The Swords of Essex, Will Ospreay, the returning Paul Robinson, Callum Newman against his, well, dare I say it, close personal friends, or maybe they were, Danny Black, Joe Lando, Maverick Mayhew. Mike, this match had everything, didn't it? And I think with this one, it was crazy. It had all the maneuvers you would expect, but it had kind of the rough element to it, the fighting, the brawling, the hard hitting, the chops. These two teams, we speak about how amazing the chemistry is between the 0121 and CPF. I want to see the Swords of Essex and CPF again. Add into the mix the 0121. Yes, please. Thank you very much. But these 6 individuals lived up to the hype, lived up to their billing. It had kind of a main event feel, of course, with Will Ospreay being part of it, wearing jeans as well. So he knew that he was in for a battle. He knew that he was in for a war, not a wrestling match. I'd say the CPF boys, they can hold their head up with pride with how they really took it to the Swords of Essex. But it did leave Callum Newman with a dilemma at the end. Like I say, you'll have to check out day 3 on demand to see what we're on about. But once again, Mike, I'm going to throw it over to you. A match that has to be seen to be believed.
Yeah, of course, John. As it was all over the show, all over the ballroom. There's people getting put through all the chairs. There was just some amazing moments in this match with one move into another move into someone hitting an Oz cutter into the next thing, and there were some things I'd never seen before in this one, reversals and all sorts of stuff. And Callum Newman flipping through the bottom rope to the outside was just absolutely insane right towards the end of the match. And poor Mav, right near the end, took a royal beating. But it was brutal. There was some real venom, some real bad blood running through this one. I just think the action in this one, perfect to come back from interval to a match like this. It's just, it's very tough for anyone else to go on after this match, because this one was just all over the place. The audience was so involved, and you can see there the passion involved. The guys are, really riled up there, and it's, was an amazing matchup. One you've definitely got to watch. This whole show was just absolutely top-notch stuff. Really, really good.
Absolutely, and I think we have to mention that after the match, we got a very emotional, heartfelt promo from Paul Robinson. I think for those that remember Paul Robinson when he was involved in Progress Wrestling a few years back would know what a passionate wrestler he was. He wore his kind of heart on his sleeve. And of course, he was the Progress and still is the Progress Proteus champion.
Well, he reminded us of that this day, didn't he, Jonathan said, so it looks like there's a possibility you might see that, you might see him bringing that belt back to Progress. We'll have to see what happens in the very near future. But a couple of things we haven't mentioned, Jonas, was
go ahead.
A couple of interesting bits. One thing I did notice earlier on was when Lycos was facing Nathan Cruz, Nigel on commentary was absolutely on the side of Nathan Cruz, and some of the comments from Nigel in that one were absolute gold dust. At one point, he called Kid Lycos kid shithead.
I watched that one back.
Sure he might have been thinking of like the ultimate shit wolf, but kid shithead. So that's a new one for us. And
that's a t-shirt all day long. That's a t-shirt all day long.
Exactly. I think so. Magic Fingers himself is pointing the finger there, but and as well, some great commentary as well from SoCal Val when Nina Samuels in the trash can in the Clock Strikes Midnight match, and she calls her Nina the Grouch. I just thought that was masterful stuff, so good. And one other thing we didn't mention actually was the you've got to have a raffle at wrestling, Jonas. We had the Super Strong Style 16 title on the line, a very special belt that had been designed especially for the day, and we raffled it away. And a big shout out to our fan James, who won that one, and he was in the ring just after the interval to receive his title belt there. So an amazing moment for him, and just a really nice moment for everyone involved. Really, for him to win that belt, that was a great moment. And thanks to everyone who got involved in the raffle. I think it was good fun, that one. And of course, CPF, what will happen to them now with, they sort of left without Cal at the end there. So, I did ring announce for Callum Newman at TNT last week, and I definitely ring announced him as being part of the Swords of Essex rather than being part of CPF. So there you go. We'll have to see what happens going forward in the future.
I don't think we've seen the end of that story. I don't think we've seen the end of that story. But I mean, kind of recollecting on some of your kind of personal highlights, and especially the commentary from Nigel McGuinness and SoCal Val there. But before day 3, and I don't think this is kind of aired anywhere, or if it has, I haven't seen it yet. But we had Sunshine Machine's second annual rock paper scissors tournament, which was so much fun. And amazing. All the more reason why you have to be there, get there early. People run into their seats, and of course wanting to be part of rock paper scissors.
Anything them guys host, John, has just turned into such a laugh. I know in the coming weekend it's Money in the Bank and SmackDown, and obviously WWE are over in the next week in the UK. So I think I'm pretty sure Sunshine Machine have got some antics planned for down in London again. Maybe some sort of another bottomless brunch or something like they did in Cardiff. But those parties can just be so wild. Make sure you check out Hooked on Wrestling and the different parties they're doing and stuff, linked up with Wrestle Tours and Progress as well, because you never know who might show up at one of those things, and or what might show up. I've heard there's going to be an opportunity to have your picture with the Progress Championship at these parties as well. So that's just something extra to add to your weekend when you're already down in London. Get along to that and party it up with the Sunshine Machine guys.
Absolutely. And talking of that raffle prize, the signed World Championship, Progress World Championship, I had the honour of guarding that for several hours at the merch stand on day 3. Beautiful bout. I was tempted to kind of put it around my waist, but no, we kept it there on display for all to see and sell a few tickets. And but we got 2 more matches to talk about, Mike. And of course, this is a match that had built over day 1. When, of course, we saw Connor Mills come out of nowhere, attack the Sovereign Lord, attack Spike Trivet. Day 2, when the roles were reversed, and I think Connor Mills went through the mill, literally being attacked and beaten to set up the eventual match on day 3. And it was, of course, Connor Mills against the Sovereign Lord. Now, this was an interesting match, not the type of match that Connor Mills would usually have in a wrestling ring. And I think Spike Trivet, once again, pulled out every tactic, every trick that he could to keep Connor Mills down. But this was a really fun, entertaining match. It went to the outside, that devastating pile driver outside on the hard wooden floor at the Electric Ballroom. I think it was a non-title match, if I remember rightly, so the championship wasn't on the line.
That was one thing Spike made sure to fit in there, wasn't it? Non-title, yeah.
He slipped that one in there, didn't he, to cover himself?
There, maybe. But that power drive on the outside that you just showed, Jonas, was absolutely brutal. And I think that was the beginning of the end, to be honest, for Connor Mills. Once he dipped his head on the deck there, that was it. He got back in the ring, and the Tower of Silence, it was all she wrote. But Connor, with a great effort, great to see him back in a Progress ring over the weekend, and he, gave a great display of himself for the fans. I know the fans wanted him back, and he was there, and it gave a good display of himself. But the Sovereign Lord is just on a different perch at the moment, a different level than everyone else. He's, he's towering above what other people can do in the ring and outside it as well, with the some of the stuff he comes out with, and his promos and things. So just it's going to be hard to knock him off his perch, to be honest. So we'll have to see in the next couple of months what happens. But a great, not a tight defense, but a great win for Spike Trivet there.
Absolutely. And I think if we ever see Connor Mills in a Progress ring again, he'll be looking for maybe a little bit of comeuppance there, a little bit of revenge, maybe with a championship on the line. We will have to see. And I'm going to be speaking to Connor Mills live on my weekly live show, Wrestling with Johners, in a few days' time. So get the lowdown, get the first-hand point of view from Connor Mills when you tune in live next Monday. And then, of course, we had the final of Super Strong Style 16, the 2023 tournament. And of course, we spoke about the two semi-finals earlier. Mark Haskins going through, Full Metal Lycos, Kid Lycos going through. Mike, this match was dramatic, exciting, nerve-wracking. I don't think I had any fingernails left by the end of this one. It gave us everything you would expect and everything you would want from a final of Super Strong Style. And sometimes finals of tournaments don't live up to the billing. You've had a wonderful tournament beforehand. Sometimes the finals are a little bit anticlimactic, a little bit of a letdown. This was the best match of the tournament, in my opinion. And we saw some amazing matches. And of course, we did have Full Metal Lycos with his hand raised there. Nigel McGuinness as the special guest referee. Of course, he hosted the show, gave us all the 16 entrants. He commentated and he refereed. He told me in an interview afterwards that he should have put up the ring, take it down, sold some merch, and he would have done absolutely everything, but he refereed that main event. And what an occasion it was. The streamers came in. The problem child, Kid Lycos 2, came in to support and congratulate his friend, his best friend there. But what a very, very memorable occasion, a very deserving winner, a very popular winner.
As I said, John, as it was almost Bret Hart-esque from Lycos with his different ways of winning, and he also Bret Hart-esque was the fact Haskins, used his deathlock all the way through to the final as well, and it looked at one point as if he was going to pick up the win over Lycos with that. He was locked in that hole for a very long time during the match, and Lycos just managed to get to the ropes, but it wasn't without some chaos this match as well, with Haskins pretending that Lycos 2 had tripped him on the outside at one point, getting Lycos 2 ejected. So there could be no excuses saying that Lycos Jim were in causing chaos together this time. It was all on his own. Lycos, Ultimate Lycos, the ultimate shithouse in this one, and he did so well. And it showed, it was a real testament to how tough both these guys are, because this was a bit of a war of attrition. This one, both had 4 matches in 3 days. And it was one of them matches where the pace was still high. There was the decent velocity to it. And then these two guys, both were, you could tell they'd been battered and beaten. And then, both, there was times when they were both clinging on and trying to pick up that victory. And in the end, it was Lycos who managed to get through it. But, what a story that this guy's got to tell now after, from the Dome, Return of the Fly, through to this moment, the tournaments. It was just, when you watch it back, it was just an amazing moment. You can see as well, the whole crowd in the ballroom were right behind Lycos by the end of it. They absolutely loved what he was doing out there and loved the story that was told. And amazing testament to show what a great wrestler he is, and well-deserved victory. And then seeing some of the comments afterwards from wrestlers at far and wide, what's congratulating Lycos, it just shows a worthy winner. And Haskins, unfortunate in defeat there, but also showed what a top caliber wrestler that he is. And it was a fitting way to end the tournament. What a bank holiday weekend! And as the streamers were flying in, and Lycos held his head high, it was a rare. Nigel McGuinness was there, obviously, selected all the combatants, and then he's there right at the finish as well to hold up Lycos' hand. What a moment, and one that I'm sure Kid Lycos won't ever forget. Amazing moments. And now, going forwards, John, as he has got the opportunity to face, whenever he wants, whoever may very well be the champion, who knows, he might take that opportunity on August the 26th for clobbering time, or he might use it at a different time. We'll have to see, but it's all fallen into place for Kid Lycos now.
Absolutely. What a story, what a journey, what a redemption story it was, and what a worthy winner But let's have a look ahead to August then, because we've mentioned it a couple of times. Of course, our friends over at Defy will be coming over here to the UK, to London, to the Electric Ballroom, the Splendid and the Vile, 12 noon on Saturday the 26th. And then, of course, you've got Progress Wrestling. It's clobbering time, already announced for Defy. Their former world champion, of course, Nick Wayne, will be competing at the Splendid and the Vile, the 12 noon show. And then, of course, Mike, we had a certain individual that we've just spoken about, got to the final there, Super Strong Style, went on BBC radio last night. And we're talking about Mark Haskins, to announce that on August the 26th, Defy Wrestling, the Splendid and the Vile, he wants to take on their world champion. He wants to take on their current champion, Kenta. When Defy come over to the UK, he wants to be that challenger for the Defy Championship. What a huge bit of breaking news there, Mike. What a huge opponent for Kenta, and what a huge opportunity for Mark Haskins, and what a fantastic championship match that would be when it's made official.
Amazing. Yeah, I'm just going to say about Haskins, in that match against Lycos in the main event, it's obviously must watch, but some of the stuff, all the matches that Lycos had won, all the moves he'd used to win his other matches, he used against Haskins in that match as well, and Haskins kicked out or didn't submit, and carried on the match. So just goes to show what a competitor he is, and how exciting the fact that Kenta could be in the UK for August 26th. I was lucky enough to see Kenta in action against Minoru Suzuki and Impact Wrestling when we were over there for the Impact versus NJPW event at WrestleMania. And, if he brings anything like what he brought on that day to the UK, and our amazing fans in the Electric Ballroom get to see that, that'll just be, something so special. And obviously there's going to be so many great talents over in the UK for August 27th, for the day after, for AEW. You just never know who might show up or what could happen on those days. Defy have got such a loaded roster. The Progress roster is absolutely stacked at the moment. Anybody who you want to see could show up on those days.
Absolutely. And then we flick ahead the same day, 4 p.m., same venue, Electric Ballroom. And of course, it's clobbering time. And a few people that have already been, a few extraordinary talents that have already been announced for It's Clobbering Time. Davey Boy Smith Jr., of course, and quite possibly his Progress Wrestling debut. The current women's champion, Lana Austin, will be there defending her gold, against whom we will have to find out. The youngest in charge, Leon Slater, will be competing. And of course, the spectacular one, having recently been victorious in a Defy ring over in Toronto this past Sunday, will be competing for Progress at It's Clobbering Time. So some extraordinary talent that have already been announced, many more to be announced in the coming days, weeks, as we get closer to August the 26th, and the matches will be announced as well. And Mike, we got this t-shirt here, which is available on pre-order. Just go to progresswrestling.com and you can get your very own I Was There, It's Clobbering Time Progress Wrestling t-shirt, of course. But a lot to look forward to. That 4 p.m. show is going to be amazing, and that t-shirt looks pretty sweet.
Oh, mate, well, hopefully I'll be able to pick one of them up, eh? And, I was going to say it'll be a great show. You can already see, great to see that Davey Boy Smith Jr. is going to be involved, someone whose career I've followed right from the very start. I was lucky enough to meet him back in about 2006, 2007. And, I've always enjoyed his work when he was in WWE, obviously in the tagging with
TJ Wilson.
The exact name I was going to say, but then I was going to give him his wrestling name. But what I'd stalled on was the fact that I was only watching Stewie from Stew's Wrestling Podcast interviewing him the other day, saying that was one of his favourite interviews he's done. So, just got caught up a moment on that one. But, amazing. And obviously saw him in MLW, and then when he was the Josh Barnett Bloodsport as well, and some of his... he did quite a lot of sort of fight training, like MMA style training as well. There was one stage where he was training with Dave Bautista. So, somebody I respect so much, who's worked at his craft so hard, and, is deserving to be on such a high level. So, looking forward to seeing him make his Progress debut. And obviously, the 3 wrestlers that have been announced so far, obviously the women's champion, Lana Austin, an absolute superstar, somebody who you need to come and see. Leon Slater, who's one of the hottest rising stars in the world. the youngest in charge. Amazing, amazing wrestler. Looking forward to seeing who he's going to be facing. And of course, Charles Crowley, the spectacular twat who is on there, just tearing through Britain and, well, the entire world. Everywhere he goes, he's, gets one of the wildest reactions from the crowd, whether it be to his dancing or to whatever he's wearing or any of his antics that he's up to. He's such a character, Crowley, that those four alone would be enough for me to purchase a ticket if I was getting along to that show. I think I will. I'll definitely be there anyway. But if I was somebody looking to buy a ticket, I'd be looking out for those guys being on the card, and that'd be enough for me. And with the rumours of Kenta versus Haskins, that's a match that you've got to see it. You've got to be there in the ballroom that day and see that one. That's going to be amazing.
Yeah, get your combo tickets today. Go to progresswrestling.com/tickets. Get your ticket or tickets today for both shows. Go ahead, go and get the combo tickets. You might as well. You're in town. Grab a bit of lunch between shows, but catch the Defy show at 12, the Progress show at 4. And then the following day, we do have AEW All In at Wembley Stadium. And of course, we've got the Wrestle Bus, Mike.
That's it. The Wrestle Bus is coming. Everybody's jumping. It's going to be a party. So if you're anywhere around the country, I know there's problems with train strikes at the moment. There's problems with coaches cancelling. Major coach companies cancelling, group bookings, crazy stuff. But the Wrestle Bus is all sorted out. It's ready to go from Manchester, Liverpool, Leeds, Cardiff, and Glasgow to get you down to AEW All In and to get you back safe. And I believe there's also there's the Sunday departures taking you straight down to All In and straight back afterwards. Or you can come down on the Saturday and get down and enjoy Progress and Defy on the Saturday as well. I would personally get down for the whole weekend and make a party of it. Enjoy yourselves, guys. And there's all sorts of other stuff going to be going on that weekend as well. I know Progress hosted a bit of a party with Hooked on Events before in the Wembley Box Park. So anybody could show up at that. And, it's just going to be such an exciting weekend. So can't wait to see you all. Anyone who's traveling for Wrestle Tours to Money in the Bank, can't wait to see you all at that. And of course, then August 26th, we'll see you for Defying Progress, Clobbering Time, baby, and AW as well. It's all happening.
It is. So get your tickets for the Defy show, the Splendid and the Vile for its Clobbering Time, August the 26th, the day before All In. You're going to be there for the weekend. You might as well come and see us at the Electric Ballroom. Just go to progresswrestling.com/tickets to get your combo tickets today. Don't forget to sign up to Progress On Demand to check out day 1, day 2, and day 3 of Progress Wrestling Super Strong Style 16. Get your 2 weeks free trial. So you can watch all 3 days of Super Strong Style and not spend a penny, not pay a penny. And then, of course, after your 2 weeks free trial of best $7.99 you'll spend each month, you can watch back every single Progress Wrestling chapter from day 1. And all sorts of fantastic companies from around the world, including TNT Extreme from up in Liverpool and many, many more. But Mike, it's been awesome doing these hype show, these recap shows with you over the last few weeks. Looking back at what an extraordinary Super Strong Style tournament it was this year. If I were to ask you, what was your kind of number 1 or 2 top moments from the 3 days? What would they be?
Oh, I had so many, but one match I thoroughly enjoyed was I just love some of the stuff Big Damo does. Big Damo versus Lycos, just some of the little bits of banter in that one were amazing. To see Crowley and Maggot interacting again, I just think those guys are just absolutely epic. So to see the bit of banter with them underneath the ring and everything was great. Finally getting to see Bullet and Big Damo interacting was good. Hopeful to see that match take place somewhere in the future. And of course, just the whole story of Lycos coming through the tournament was an amazing story. And, Nigel added so much to it. Bozzus did a great job ring announcing. We had Ollie Spring holding it together on commentary. DJ King made his commentary debut. We had SoCal Val there. It was just, such an amazing weekend. We had Simon dialing in on the video screen, setting up his own ups and downs battle royal. I just felt like, the whole weekend with WXW involved and everybody who came together and enjoyed it and had a great weekend. I just feel like it was such a special tournament. Of course, Will Ospreay and Robbo coming back was huge for the Progress fans. And, I've seen so many people who were just buzzing about that. The returns of Rampage and Haskins as well and Nathan Cruz. I think just after that weekend, it was such a special weekend for Progress, and I just hope everyone's gone away with some amazing memories. And, we've set things up for the future as well. Nick Wayne's there, Leon Slater's there, Man Like Del Boy's ready to go and rock the merch stand. It's all going ahead, and we go forward to August 26th for our next one, and we just hope everyone will be able to join us there for another amazing weekend, and look forward to seeing you there, Jonas.
I'll be there for sure. But Mike, as always, thank you very much for being a good friend and an awesome co-host. And to everybody watching at home, thank you very much for tuning in. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button to this video. Don't forget to continue the conversation, Super Strong Style 16, and we'll see you soon, Mike. Thank you very much.
One more thing.
Go on.
Go and watch the tag team match that main evented day 2, and go and watch the Clock Strikes Midnight match. They are 2 matches you've just got to watch. And you'll thank me for that another time.
Sign up to Progress on Demand and get your tickets for its clobber in time. But Mike, we'll catch you next time, my friend.
Thanks, Jonas. See you again soon.